Hello, this is April, the colorist behind Dreamy Color Fix. Today I bring you a video with mermaids. Mermaid is coming up in May. I don't know if this is a big thing in the colorist world, but I usually do something related to mermaids in my art. I will also do something with mermaids in coloring books. So with this book, I'm going to be using my Prismacolors, and I bought this nifty pencil case from Amazon. I'll include the link down below. This case is really awesome, kind of big, but I have 133 Prismacolor pencils. There is a pocket here and a pocket here, but I'm not using either. This case says it can hold 220 pencils on Amazon, but I put 133 pencils and I have just only this much left. That's probably because I only used 2 pencils per band, but you can fit 3, I would say 3 in each of these bands. So I could put much more pencils in here, but I just didn't. So there's 3, 4, well, there's 3 in the middle, and then on the back there's 1, and on the front inner cover there's another one. So there's quite a lot of room in here. But I only have Prismacolor pencils. I have like Prismacolor watercolor pencils and probably Sargent pencils, but I don't use those. I prefer only to use these. I want to get Faber-Castell Polychromos or Caran d'Ache Pablo pencils, but that's just on my wish list. For now, I have to just use the Prismacolor pencils. They are good, but they do cause bloom. They're not all completely light fast, but that's something that's just gonna happen later. But the case, they have different designs too, so if you don't like this ice cream print, there's others. And it was only $21, pretty good price, I think. And it feels silky, so it feels good to the touch. So Prismacolor pencils, and the reason why I'm using only Prismacolor pencils is because this mermaid book is not on Create Space paper. It's actually not cardstock, but text paper weight paper. Text paper weight. It's heavier, it's smooth, so I believe it can handle just the pencils by itself. But we're going to see. I'm going to, in this book is not made by Amazon, it's made in China. But this is Jasmine Becket-Griffith, and I have a flip through of this, and you can click on the link on the top right to check it out. This, in her books, she has 3. I only have 1, but this is called Mermaid with a Baby Alligator. I chose this page because of the simple, because the alligator is so cute and it's simple, and I want simple because I'm only using coloring pencils. I'm also not in the mind to do something more complex, but she has an assortment of different styles, different complexities. So this book is actually quite awesome. Different, well, I'm not going to go into that because this is not a flip through, but we have our Prismacolor chart. If you haven't already created a chart, you should. You can create your own or go online and download. I searched for this online, and this is created by Christina Hoare. I'm not sure how you pronounce her name, but she gave this free download for anybody to use it. So I did. I don't want to create my own. But so I have not 150, but this is made for 150. I have 133 Prismacolor pencils. I got the 132 set in Korea. And I'm just missing like 16 colors, and that's not bad. And if you look here, I also marked which colors were excellent light fastness, poor light fastness. So if you were really concerned about it and you're using Prismacolor pencils, you can avoid using the ones that are like poor, fair light fastness, because the what do you call it? Fluorescent green, the light green, very good in red and excellent in the blue, is the ones that I'm going to try to use. But this is a coloring page, so it's not going to be sold, so that isn't going to be my concern. But it's good to have this in mind for your reference. Well, also because I want to look at these colors. The most important thing, I can see the colors and I can pick my colors from here instead of looking through that and picking colors. It's true to color here and pick from here instead of just looking at the pencil. This is a little bit big, but I don't have the space to keep them stored in front of me because I have a small desk. I wish I had the space for marker storage in the neat little like storage things where you just take one out each time, but don't have that. So this is the next best thing. So, well, we know she's a mermaid. And she's in the water, okay? So the great thing about this book is there's light lines as well as dark lines. I'm going to use light peach and gray lavender for her skin tones. I'm using light pressure in the side of the pencil, and I'm holding it pretty far back. And I'm going with the lines, like the contour of the face. And gradually I'm turning the pencil so then the pencil will stay sharp longer. You don't want to have a dull pencil, and you want the pencil to remain sharp to fill in the paper. Fill in all the paper crevices. This illustration is called Mermaid with a Baby Alligator. And this artist lives in Florida, which has a lot of water, sea life, which I envy. I live in Texas. In Florida, they have alligators. Here in Texas, no, we don't have alligators. But I guess we do have a lot of... What does Texas have a lot of? A lot of hills. Texas has a lot of hills. No mountains. But there is seas. So in there we have seas. You just have to go down south to Corpus Christi, Galveston, but that's pretty far from me. So this coloring book has this not create space paper, which is great, but it's double the price compared to create space coloring books. I paid $19, I think, on Amazon. The paper quality is pretty thick, not cardstock. With create space paper, I would have problems just using coloring pencils. And this book has like 55 illustrations in it, and it's not stiff, but it's not uncomfortable to work, but I might have to break the spine further later. This is the first one in this book that I'm coloring. I use the Staedtler pencil sharpener. I got it in Korea, and it doesn't break as much as the Prismacolor one or other sharpeners. So this only has one size, but I like this size tip. I like it this sharp. I'm coloring the darker areas first. When we think of the face skin tones, it's going to be darker at our temples and like next to our hairline, and darker here where her eyebrows are, or underneath her eyebrows and above her eyelid, and even in the crease of the eyelid. And where her chin is going to be dark under her lips, and at the creases of her lips. And then our eyes are redder or have color underneath our eyes here in our dark circle area, which I have a lot of, and inside in the inner lid, this would be the reddest. I will go back later and make it redder. And in our tear duct here, it's also going to be red later. It really is skin color tone, but with a little bit more red. And later I will go with a redder blush to accent these areas, but I'm just creating a foundation for it now. Now the rest of her skin tone is her one shoulder and her neck area, and underneath here will be the darkest. Pretty much this area will be the darkest area and have a pretty much not a lot of light colors down here. Now this shoulder here, there will be a light area here, but from here to here, well, from here, here, and this like kind of triangle area will be in shadows. And I guess I forgot to mention the color. I'll put it on the screen. This is peach. No, I'm sorry, Salmon Pink. This is Salmon Pink PC 1001. using light strokes. Keep on layering. You're going to need if you go too hard at first, you're going to not be able to layer as much. And keep the pencil on the side and keep rotating to keep it sharper longer. When you can, go with the face shape, contours of the face, but for blending purposes, going perpendicular or not going in different directions helps with blending. Think of it like real makeup. If you wear makeup, you would put your foundation on in the direction of your cheeks, etc. And then where the nose is, we have our shadows underneath and on the sides of the nose. As well as above the nose. Normally there would be a lot of shadows in this area, but since this artist creates her characters with a very wide face, there won't be a lot. But I'm lightly coloring it in here. This is Light Peach PC927. I'm using this color in the lightest areas. This will help blend into the salmon pink. And I recommend pencil extenders, especially if you use your pencils often, because you don't want to waste them when they get too short. And I guess there's other ways. I've seen other people glue or do something else to make pencil extenders, but I have two of them just from buying something that came with it. And I'm not worried about like the whitest highlights. I will use a white pencil to create those highlights and probably a Posca pen. But this is really light too, this light peach. And I'm not forgetting to go with the shape of the face and keeping everything really light. And turning the pencil sometimes to keep the tip sharp. holding your pencil like this will, like a paintbrush, will help you not forget to draw lightly. And Prismacolors can't be layered a lot, so drawing light is key. If you had something else like Faber-Castell Polychromos, which I've never experienced really. I do have 2 of them, but they came in a scrawler box. But I've never really used them in this capacity. But I do want them one day. What color pencils do you use? Let me know down below. And I recommend something like this. This is just from Faber-Castell. I think this is a pastel white or something. But it had this nifty brush at the end, which is why I got it. It's worked great with color pencils. This is the Grade Lavender 1026. I want her to have like a purple skin tone. Not avatar like, but a natural. Do you use Prismacolor pencils? Because I just feel like the wax base, they are vibrant pencils, but there's too much wax bloom, and right now it's imaginable, but I'm finding a lot of like weird smudges and different things that I don't like. Okay, back to the Grade Lavender 1026. And I just want to lightly color some areas with this pencil. Lightly, especially around around her lid here. Make it kind of like an eyeshadow. And I want this Grade Lavender to go around the shape of her face too. And sometimes with blending, it's good to make little circles. But blending is still not my goal. Just foundations, building the foundations of the colors. Now, this has already had like 3 layers, at least 3. Salmon Pink and Light Peach and this Grade Lavender, and it's already building form on this side of her face. You can see the roundness. Here, there's no form yet, even here. Now this side of her face will have the most highlights. Like right here. And I'm going with the direction, I'm going in the the contour of the face, the roundness, going like this. Wide strokes are better than short, blunt strokes. And then right here there's like a demarcation line, but the grade lavender is blending that out by using the right wide strokes. Oh, and after a certain point, I will be using Turpenoid to blend the colored pencils. But I've heard you can use baby oil on the tip by dipping the pencil. You don't even have to use it really, it's your choice. But it takes longer to blend if you don't use it. Sometimes it's better if you just go with the burnishing method. But I don't really know yet my plan. I think Turpenoid, because the paper is thick enough to handle watercolor, I'm sure, so it can handle Turpenoid. But I would say I don't use them anyways, but like colorless blenders might tear up the this paper, but it might be better than Create Space paper. Still, I don't use colorless blenders hardly. And under her neck here is the darkest, so I'm going to take this lavender and layer over the whole part until the alligator's snout. And the areas that will be the darkest will be under her chin here and on the sides of her hair, or next to the hair locks. Or at least the darkest part. Really the whole part, this whole area will be dark. And another thing, if you hold your pencil on the side like this, it prevents breaking when you use it. At least some. Everyone knows Prismacolor pencils break all the time. I'm going to go with the light peach again to blend out the grade lavender. If you want this process to go faster, you can use markers. But I chose color pencils just because, just wanting to see how this paper can handle just color pencils. And I haven't done only color pencils in a while, at least, well, I have, but that was maybe a few weeks ago, maybe longer. I used to do realistic portraits with just color pencils, and even though they take forever, when you're done, the results are amazing. This is lavender again. I am darkening up some of the nose areas here. So the highlights will go right at the tip, and then there'll be a big one right there. On the tip of her nose, there'll be like a highlight at the round part, and then the tip at the bottom. And now I'm at the point where I have paper underneath because I don't want to create indents. Not that I'm drawing heavy, but it's just a precaution. And I need a paper on top or some glove. I've seen artists use gloves, but I'm not very comfortable with that. Maybe I should use a glove. I do have one. So I'm going to use my glove so I don't smudge anything because these are wax based and they are prone to doing that. So in a second, I will get my glove. I am happy with the overall tone and look of this, but it definitely needs more, a little bit more oomph. And I have my glove on now so you can see it better, because if I use the paper then I would be covering up a lot. And I'm going to be using Turpenoid shortly, but first I'm going to add a little bit more color. This is Parma Violet, and also, by the way, this video will be probably in 2 parts. When I get done with the skin tone, then this will be the end of this video, and then the next video would be whatever else, because I can't do very large videos because I like to edit them out, some things out, and some things it's just hard for my computer to handle the big large edits, but we shall see. And most purples and pinks are not light fast, but this being a coloring book, it doesn't matter really. We are not even close to burnishing. I'm not going for burnishing anyways. Because I don't think it's going to be able to look very well that way. I want to do Turpenoid. Put a little bit of purple right here. In real life, I like to put a little bit of the color here. This paper is perfect. It's perfect for coloring pencils because it's not slick cardstock. That I had a Sakuiem's coloring book and the paper was just slick. So this paper, text paper weight, 150 GSM is perfect. It's not always the weight of the paper that makes it a good paper for coloring pencils. I'm going to go back and use the grade Lavender that I used first, just to smooth out some things. At this point, using little circular motions helps the blending process. Highlights and just overall form, I'm going to use Cream PC930. I use this glove is annoying, but I use this pencil a lot, this color a lot for overall blending, kind of like white and highlights. Gives it a good yellow tone because our skin has a plethora of colors: red, yellow, green too. Just not sickly green, but point is, our skin is not just this peach color. And if you hold your pencil like I am, your hands won't hurt as much. They could still hurt from just hours of using them, but not as much. Keep on turning the pencil so you keep the pencil sharpened as you go. If you want to make this process faster, you can use markers. And when I do that, I tend to use color pencil over that, and only like maybe 1 or 2 color pencil colors. In this kind of situation, I've already used, well, not counting the eyeshadow, 4. And it takes much more layers, many more layers to get a good result. And really the amount of blending is up to you, because honestly it's already looking good. I could stop right now, but I just want a little bit more. It's not a realistic portrait, so you have more liberties. And even going over this dark area here with this cream helps to blend, but lightly still. Once you burnish, you can't go back. And my goal isn't really burnishing. I'm going to use a little bit of turpentine to see how that works, because I just don't want that waxy sheen. It's why I don't like Prismacolor pencils. Well, I mean, they're okay. That's the only artist grade pencil I have. Oh, I just want the Faber-Castell. I want oil-based pencils because they don't smudge or have a wax bloom. On this kind of work where it's a full background work, it doesn't matter if you have a wax bloom. But when you have just the figure and no background, that wax bloom can make the white in the background dirty looking. Makes a difference. And I wouldn't say Prismacolor pencils are cheap. They're just not the highest quality, or they're just not the only thing out there. There's other things. So straight lines, back and forth, and little circles. Back and forth, little circles. This cream color is also a good foundation for hair when you go to blend or create strands. Grade Lavender, because I see just a bit of the color here that needs to be blended out a little bit more. For now, I'm happy with the skin, and now let's just color in her lips just to give it more of a finished look. This is Magenta PC930, and with the lips, the top lip is usually the darkest, but there is sometimes a highlight right here at the top. Then the corners are the darkest. Really, I'm not the best at like lighting, but as long as it looks believable, it's good. And then the bottom could have a highlight on both sides, really. So usually I just kind of give the impression of it first and then color around it, still keeping in mind the not doing this, but using the sides of the pencils. Now the lips also is not just one color. So we have magenta, and that is our base foundation color. But we need a different color, and people that don't wear lipstick, there will be flesh tone, like the skin will be flesh tone, but a little bit lighter than, a little bit redder than the face, the skin of the face. So we look at my chart here. We have a few options. We can do blush pink for a pinky tone, pink rose. I think or clay rose, rosy beige. Peach is too close to our salmon pink, so I think we should go with clay rose. Clay rose is a darker color and has like a natural tone to it. And I have these sorted in order in my pencil case like this too, so I can quickly just look, okay, clay rose is the second row, or is in the red, so they're after the peach. So clay rose, where are you? Clay rose is right here. And then I'm gonna be able to put it back with no problems, because it's in the order of this sheet, which this person made it, but it's in the order that Prismacolor has online, which is what I printed on this side here. They have this on their website. So if you do that, it'll make your life easier. This is the first time I've ever had a pencil case or done this, and I've done swatches before, but I usually would just pull out colors I think I'm using and then swatch them then, and then swatch as I go, which is, it'll take you longer that way. This is easier, and then pencil case makes my life so much easier, and it looks so cool. I've always had them in pencil cases, like pencil pouches. Now, I'm just crossing over that highlighted area a little bit, but even if you cover it a little bit, you can take your white and create your highlights over it with no problems. And you also have the option of using Jelly Rolls, Posca pens to create your highlights, so don't worry, just keep on coloring. Now this clay rose color is good for skin tone too. After a certain point, I can create harder strokes, but that's not what I want right now. Okay, for now, I'm happy with the lips. It just makes me more motivated that it looks, and it's a little bit more finished looking. So this clay rose can work for the tear ducts because it is a red. If I need it redder, I can pull out a different color. But layering is what we need anyways. Now I don't draw these, what do you call it? I don't even know what to call this part, but above the lower lashes, this inner eyelid part, I don't draw that in my drawings. It's style preference. It looks good on her drawings, but my characters are not chibi, cute. I would consider my characters sleek. I have a few coloring pages that I have created myself. They're in the link, and I'll pop an example right here for you to see. The beauty of coloring pages and art is that everyone is different. Everyone has their take on art, and I love coloring in coloring books too, because it really helps me develop my color palettes, my color schemes, and get inspiration from other artists. I know there are some people who just are colorists, but I know there are many that are both. And I'm going to need a little bit more of a pink color, but that's a good start. And this clay rose can also be good underneath her chin, her neck. I'm still able to layer a lot, but I'm getting close, especially down here. If you don't want to use markers, I haven't tried it myself. You can use pan pastels or the regular chalk pastels to create your base, and then use the fixative to color, use a fixative and then color with pencils. I almost don't need turpentine because I am being patient with the layering process and lightly creating the layers. Sometimes contouring with the shape, sometimes going straight, sometimes making little circles. I would just go in like this, but as you saw, going like this makes my hand, makes the strokes lighter and makes it go with the shape of her forehead and creates more of a blended look. I would be more prone to be heavy-handed if I did it in this direction. Once you get to a certain point, you would be just making little circles. You're not burnishing yet, but you're close. And I'm going to take the salmon pink I used earlier. And smooth out this area here. I am happy with it, but there's just a little splotchiness. And I want to also use my light peach to give more of a smoother look right around here. I don't want it to get too dark, but I want to blend it more and add more layers. Now down here, all I have to do is just put a little bit more pressure in it, and I'm burnishing it. But I don't, it's okay to have the paper showing a little bit, and it's not bad, but I want to blend it completely. So I'm going to take the turpenoid just a little bit in some areas. But before that, I have white. Just in a little in some spots. I want to blend a little bit before I do the final, well, the blend with the turpenoid. I don't know if it's the final blend, but it will be the first. Okay, so just to recap before I do the turpenoid, I'm not going to count the white, or the eyeshadow. But for the skin tone, I used 5 colors. So if you're using colored pencils, more colors is the key. I put the turpenoid in just a Tupperware, and I am just going to dab a little bit and make sure you have your paper underneath. And I'm just using an old paintbrush. You don't want to use your good ones on this. And be careful not to get any of this on the actual outside of the border, because it will stain. The other areas is okay because they will be colored in. Well, I don't know if I can see the letters from this side on this side. Maybe it's because I used too much, but hopefully when it dries it's not there. But if it is, hopefully I can cover it up with more color pencils. That's unfortunate that she printed letters on this side, because if I was going to do markers too, that would happen as well. So I did just want to finish this, so this is just something I wanted to show in this video, so that I could see the letters after, even after it dried just a little bit. And I just went back with some of the same colors. I just put the gray lavender right here on her cheek, and I want to do it a little bit more. Gray lavender, light peach, and the white. White is opaque, the most opaque. So if you experience this as well, it's not the end of the world. I just feel like the letters shouldn't be in the back, but it is a cool addition to this book to explain what how she created this. But if you use markers, or markers maybe not as bad as Turpenoid, but in this case it did not. The letters just showed up like a tattoo. I almost regretted using Turpenoid, but I do like how it looks. I liked it before. I like it even better after. This is light peach. I really don't need to do this. This is purely optional. I'm just, since I went and made this side darker to cover the letters, I'm just adding more gray lavender on this side. Well, this is light peach to blend the gray lavender. I am able to layer, but not as much as not a lot more. If I do much more, it can get cakey. You can try to extend your layering by spraying it with fixative and adding more, but I don't really feel like doing that. I think this will be good enough for me. And then I'm going to take the cream . And my pressure is a little bit more than in the beginning, because now I'm burnishing right now. Salmon pink, just in some areas. I guess it didn't really matter if those letters showed up or not, because I would have done this anyways. The only difference is this became darker than planned, but I like the results. Good with that. But it needed another layer anyways after the Turpenoid process. The next video, which is what I did in the last one, last few videos I've done. This is a color and chat with a real-time process, And the next one will be a speed color because it'll take too long if it wasn't otherwise, obviously, because there's a lot more stuff to do here. But I'll still show the colors I'm using. Okay, so I'm going to go with the white again, just on this, well, on this cheek for now. Just the cream. There's almost not a lot I can do anymore because I've already layered so much. I will link these colors in the description if you are interested in knowing if you like this skin tone. Right, and last but not least, just light peach again. I want another like color for the tear duct, so I think we're going to go with pink. Just pink will work. Pink 929 PC929. I don't want the lips to be too red, just a little bit, or to be too bold. They can be a little bit red or, I guess, tinted. The part 1 color and chat video is finished for now. Thank you for watching this skin tone tutorial / Prismacolor blending tutorial. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. See you next time, dreamers. Goodbye, everyone.